All right, Sagittarius, it's you. How you doing, my fire family? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for clicking here. Somebody said to me in another video, the comment said, oh, you say that to all the fire signs. You're my fire family. Yes, I do, because I'm a Sag rising. I have a lot of Aries in my chart, and I'm a Leo Jupiter. So look, it's a wonder that I don't punch more people in the throat. It's a damn wonder. All right. Look, let's do it. Let's find out what's going on for you. This is your weekly reading. I do this reading once a week. If you're brand new, catch up. If you're brand new, welcome. I hope you'll stay. And if you are going to stay, please hit that bell button, which means you'll need to subscribe just because the readings, although consistent, will be all over the place. So to know when your sign is being uploaded, you might just want to hit that bell button. I mean, I'm all up in your grill anyway, up in your feed, your Facebook feed, or sorry, not your Facebook, but your YouTube feed. You might as well, right? All right, let's get straight. I'm gonna try. Let's find out what's going on for you, Sagittarius. Look, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how to find the extended, if you'd like to see that, and also about how to get a private read. Thank you so much for clicking here, by the way. If you're brand new and you've just shown up on all of these shenanigans, welcome. And if you're somebody who comes back for the shenanigans, thank you so much for doing that. Okay, let's do that. Thank you for the thumbs up, by the way. Helps the tribe grow. Tell me what's going on for Sag. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Look where we started. Wow, we're starting right at the Empress energy here. Okay, tell me why the Empress is here. We've got the Six of Cups. Okay. All right, all right. Oh, and then we've got the Seven of Pentacles. All right. You know what? It feels right away like somebody here is trying to protect their energy. It feels like Seven of Pentacles is, oh, you're waiting on a soulmate. That's what it is. You are protecting your energy, I feel, Sag, because you're waiting on a soulmate. I feel like you're not about giving your energy to everybody. The Empress is not, right? The Empress is not playing. Look, the Empress would rather be single for an eternity and walk off into the grave than give her energy out to people who are going to misuse it. So I say her because there's a woman on the card, but please understand that whether you're the feminine or the masculine, the man or the woman who is the Empress, because the Empress is both feminine and masculine energy. And so it does feel like somebody here is saying, you know what? I'm not here to play. I'm not here to swipe left and right. I'm not here to give this one, that one, and everyone my dating energy. I'm here for the one. So I don't think you're looking for a person. I think you're looking for the last person. And it feels like you're willing to wait. I don't think you're going to wait forever, be honest. I don't think you're going to wait forever, Sagittarius, but I think you're serious. I think that I'm reading for someone who's really serious. Look, if this is not soulmate energy, if I don't feel like I've known you from somewhere before, if you don't give to me like I give to you, if I don't feel like I've known you from another lifetime, then you're not even getting in the door. That's what it feels like here. So you're a sovereign, is what it feels like. Like, look at her sitting there, right? It's like, no, you don't get to pass even the first gate. Nope, I'm going to sit here and wait until the right one comes. And how are you going to know? Well, you're the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles, right? You know, because you're the Queen of Cups. You have psychic and intuitive energy. Tell me more about Sagittarius. Boy, these readings have been kind of energy fulfilled here. You boy, yeah, we got Death card here. I feel like you have walked through the dark alone. You've given up too much to get to this energy where you're finally okay to be on your own. It doesn't mean that you want to be. Please get that straight. I don't think that you want to be alone. But I think now you know the difference between giving your energy to just anybody that comes along and wants to have a bit of your energy and somebody who really means something. So I feel like the Death card tells me that you've had some sort of deep transformation that has turned you into this Empress energy. But deep transformation is not hard. It's not easy. It's really, really hard. You have to walk around in the dark for a while. It feels like you've ended an old way of life and you have now entered into a new vibration. And in that new vibration, you're okay to wait because you're in the reassessment phase of life. What do I really want here? Can I find ways to make myself happy, keep myself busy, and just only give my energy to someone who is ready to transform alongside of me? We have the King of Wands. Very interesting. King of Wands at the center of your reading tells me that this is the heart of the matter. I think that the thing is, you're the Queen of Wands, right? If you are the Empress, you're also the Queen of Wands energy. You've learned that wisdom already. And so what this is telling me here, the King of Wands, is that you want someone with wisdom. That you're going to choose your soulmate with wisdom. You're going to know because that person's going to match your energy, and you're going to be able to feel wisdom. You're going to know who the King of Wands is. Tell me more. We've got the Three of Wands. So I feel like you're waiting for the future. You are waiting for the future for someone else who's also been through a transformation. Someone who is not afraid of taking a risk. And I feel you'll know that person when they walk in the door because you will feel them before you see them. Tell me more. So you're in this deep reassessment about the future. And the Six of Cups is not only love, right? The Six of Cups is nostalgia. It's, I've learned from my past. I'm going to say you've learned from your past because the Death card is here. You don't go through a deep transformation unless you actually learn from your mistakes and you decide to stop repeating those mistakes. So I feel like you have learned that I would rather hold my energy back, or I would rather wait. I would rather really pay attention to nurturing and growing whatever I've planted. Until which time in the future the King of Wands does show up. Because the King of Wands, I feel, is somebody who is not only full of wisdom, but is also somebody who will take a measured risk. They are also someone who's full of passion. And I think that's what you're looking for. You're looking for someone who will possibly pursue you. If you are in your feminine energy, even if you are in the masculine energy as the Empress, you want someone to pursue you. You are not interested in pursuing anyone else. You learned this lesson already, that whatever you chase will run. And also, when you're chasing things, you don't know if the things you're chasing are for you. So the Empress decides to sit on the throne and wait. And wait for manifest, not necessarily wait, but manifest whatever it is that I want. Whether that be money, time, effort, energy. I think you're looking for a king who will give you all of those things. Time, effort, energy. We've got the Page of Cups. Oh, I think you may just get your wish. I'm just saying, the Page of Cups is here. If you're somebody who's recently stepped into the Empress energy, and look, if you're an Empress, you know that you're an Empress. And it's not something to be boastful about. It's something that you actually get quiet about because you no longer have to tell people you're in your Empress energy. You walk into a room and shift the energy. People will treat you as though you are in the Empress energy. So the Page of Cups is here. And so I feel as though there is some sort of maybe a little bit of a surprise, a shock, maybe, that is showing up after the transformation is complete. And just because she's showing up here and sitting on her throne doesn't necessarily mean that you are already in full completion. Well, the Death card here might mean that. Tell me more. Judgment. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And the Five of Wands is here. So it does feel like, I'm going to say that behind the scenes, what you cannot see, my friend, is that the King of Wands is also looking for a mate, looking for someone who can mirror their energy, someone with wisdom, someone with passion, someone who can do the controlled burn, but someone who's willing to take a measured, right? Measured. The Seven of Pentacles is the measured or educated risk. The ability to be able to reassess the future and just go after what I want no matter what the competition is like. Putting my neck out there. And so the King of Wands is always looking for the Queen of Wands, who's within the Empress energy, because the Empress carries that energy of independence. I can do it myself. I don't need a king to do it for me. I can take care of those things myself, and I don't care if I fall down. I'll just get back up again. The Judgment card tells me that this King of Wands is somebody who is also looking to make a decision about ending an old chapter of their life and beginning a new chapter. It feels like this King of Wands has their back to the future, possibly looking at the Death card, right? The King of Wands, we have to pay attention to how they're facing each other. The Death card is facing the future head on, but the King of Wands is facing the Death card. It feels like if there is a delay or you haven't met your person yet, if we are talking about a person here, that it's because this person is not interested in going into the future until they've completed their own transformation. So I'm going to say that your person is actually on par with you. We're like in parallel universes, I would say. Maybe you haven't met this person yet, but it does feel like it might come as a bit of a shock when you do. And when you do, I feel that you will feel the shift or the change, because the Judgment card is about the old life dying and the new life resurrecting you into some sort of a new cycle. And I feel like this person, you're going to know who they are. And that's how the Empress knows, is because this person pursues and they fight for the Empress. All right, let's put down 2 cards. We're going to see what's under the surface here. What is it that you don't see? We have the Hanged Man is in the reverse. I always get a little bit excited when the Hanged Man comes up in the reverse, because it means no more perspective. I've gotten my perspective. I know what I want to do now, and I'm just waiting in this bit of a pause. Coming out of this pause, I want to know, I will see what's going on. Well, look at that. Very interesting. So look, somebody's coming out of this pause or perspective and has realized that they do need to sacrifice the old, because Hanged Man is also about sacrifice. But when it's in the reverse, it's like, okay, I'm willing to sacrifice it. It feels like somebody here is willing to sacrifice the old. And when you send that energy to the universe, look, you surrender and you say, fine, I'm willing to take the change. I'm willing to do the transformation, even though it's really hard. That's when the Tower shows up. So it feels like this is like an agreement with the universe, is what it feels like. This Hanged Man in the reverse, you can see this person is standing up. It's like you can see their arms are in the air. I surrender. That's what it is. It's the surrender. So what I want to say is, I think that there is, in the future, coming in somebody's future here, if this is not a relationship reading for you, I'm just looking at the 7 of Pentacles, and I feel like you have cultivated some education, or you, through the years, have gone to this job, that job, and you've created a lot of a pool of information that makes you very good at something. First of all, it makes you patient. But second of all, I think that you're ready to really show the universe your intention. And when you show the universe your intention with the 7 of Pentacles, you're willing to put the hard work into it. So I feel like you're showing the universe, if we're not talking about relationship, and we're talking about maybe a job, career, money, I feel like you've been really patient, learning something new. Virgo energy tells me that, or Taurus energy and Virgo energy tells me you've been working really hard at it. Capricorn energy tells me you're very organized with it. But it feels like this 3 of Wands here tells me that you're on your way, or you're ready to turn your back on the past and move forward to the future. But you're going to be very patient. It's always the P's when I come to the Pentacles. It's always the P's. You're going to be very patient. You're going to be very practical with your time, and I feel like you're ready to fight for whatever it is that you want. Now, I feel also that turning your back on the past, or maybe it's an old job, maybe you've made the decision. You've come to a place of surrender and said, "Look, I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore," and the universe throws you the 7 Pentacles and says, okay, you've been patient. You've been waiting. Go ahead, head down the path. But look, it's not going to be easy, and it's probably going to move fast. 5 and 3 is 8. It's probably going to move quicker than you want it to, but you made the decision. You made the big decision, and it's time for you to move forward. The King of Wands is the one that has the controlled burn, as I like to say. He's not the person who's setting the whole forest on fire in order to make sure that they get what they need. This king has got a controlled burn. I think you're being very careful with the seeds of intention that you're throwing, because you know that you're going to, once you plant the seeds in the garden, you can't just leave them there. You have to then tend to them, right? So I think that you're being very controlled with how many seeds you're throwing out there at the same time. I feel like it does come to fruition. We're going to get to this clarifying here, because the Page of Cups is here. And it feels like after a really hard time, I'm going to say, like after it feels like, this feels like Phoenix rising energy. It's like you burnt the whole thing to the ground. And what has come from it is this judgment energy here. Let's talk about the death card. Let's talk about that first. Tell me about the death card for Sagittarius, please. What is the death card? Tell me about Sag. We've got the High Priestess. So whatever you've been through, and it feels like it's been really hard, it's a complete ego death. I feel like this has brought you closer to your intuition. It's brought you closer to the veil. The veil is all that's separating you from the other world. I feel like you feel more in tune with your intuition. I feel like you're making better decisions. It feels like it has opened up a whole new intuitive, psychically intuitive world for you. We've got the Ace of Swords in the reverse. One more. And we've got the Queen of Swords. Okay. So it does feel like you always had this intuition, but you weren't listening. And sometimes we do that. And as we grow, before we step out of our old vibration and into the new vibration, which is the Empress, that we tend to maybe listen to what other people are saying rather than making decisions for ourselves. Why? Because then we can blame it on them. Well, you gave me the wrong information and I couldn't make my own decisions, so it's your fault that I didn't get it. And that's when you're blaming things on the outside, right? You're not the Empress. When you're the Empress going, oh man, I could have made a better decision. I shouldn't have asked the question. I feel like you go from this place of not trusting your intuition to really trusting your intuition loud, because this is part of the Empress energy. So the truth and the honesty, you come to this place where I should have made those decisions by myself, and you begin to do that. In order to keep balance, because we are talking about Libra energy when we talk about the Queen of Swords, in order to keep balance and harmony, you have to stand up and you have to speak aloud. And sometimes you have to say the things that other people won't say. And although the Queen of Swords isn't saying it in order to cause an argument, the Queen of Swords will interrupt and say, nope, that's actually not the truth. Here's what the truth really is. So I feel like you are now really intuitive, or you are really trusting your intuitive and psychic energy, and you're doing it in a very quiet way. Because look, the Queen of Swords is never going to stand up just in order to ruffle feathers. The Queen of Swords is going to weigh and measure what she's going to say, and then if it's requested of her, she will say it out loud. So I feel like you've gone through this really big change in you, whereby maybe you would jump in the middle and say, no, that's not how it goes, to this place where you're really quiet. And then when they ask your opinion, you're giving the opinion. So understand, it's flipped now. You used to take the advice, but now you're giving the advice, because you used to be in the Ace of Swords in the reverse, where you were getting the information from the universe, but weren't listening to it. You get to this place where now you're holding up the boundary and saying, no, you need to stop right there, because that's actually not the truth. I'll tell you what the truth is. So, interesting. I feel like there is, I want to go back to this romantic thing for a moment. If this is a romance reading for you, I want to talk about the Six of Cups. Tell me about the Six of Cups. You know, I also think that this tells me here that you were an Empress in the last life. Whether you're the man or the woman, the feminine or the masculine leaning, I think you were an Empress in the last life. And to me, this is remembering the last life and all the work that you did back there. Like, it's like sometimes when there is someone who's a prodigy, right, who is like 4 years old and playing the piano like Mozart, that's because that's last life energy. They just remembered it. It's the unfolding, right? So I think that this Six of Cups is an unfolding. And because that's how your life is unfolding, I feel like you're waiting for that to unfold with the next person that comes along. Yeah, you're hopeful that I'm going to feel them before I see them. I feel like you are manifesting soulmate energy, and you know what that feels like. And so I think you're going to know that person when they show up. We do have the World card. And when they do show up, I feel like you will feel them, because it will feel like an old cycle is finally gone and the new cycle is finally here. A door will close somewhere. It will feel like, well, I don't have to look anymore. I don't have to look for my person, because my person found me. So the World card tells me something comes to I'm doing this because it's like full moon almost, like something comes to a place where it resolves itself and it takes a long while. Well, look at that. That's your energy, right? Queen of Wands. So I feel like there is somebody here who hasn't quite stepped into their Empress energy yet. The Empress energy is never chasing. The Empress energy is minding their business, building themselves, taking care of themselves and doing a lot of self-care and cultivating their own garden, taking care of their health inside, outside, glow up stage, all that stuff we talk about, right? Which you really don't honestly, truthfully know until you go through it. And then all of a sudden on the other side, you're like, oh, this must be what they meant about the Empress energy. So I feel like this Queen is attracting the King is what it looks like. And we do have some energy that's telling me that there is a realization that I had to surrender and that the old thing had to die before I could head out on the new path. Look, we're going to go to the extended and we're going to talk about what the judgment is. Something here is about to change and there is a surprise coming. It feels like a surprise or a shock because I don't think that you've realized, for those of you who are in the Empress energy, I don't think you've realized that you're there. And once you do realize that you're there, that's when you've realized that all this hard work you put in and all this cultivation is put you into a place where you've closed an old chapter and you didn't even notice it. You're not the same person that you were this time last year. So we're going to go into the extended. If you'd like to come into the extended, we're going to clarify all the rest of this. And we're going to go there. If you would like to go there, please look at the top of the comments. There is a pinned comment there, and if you're interested in coming into the extension, you'll click the link that says the membership. If you don't want to go to the membership to see this extended, you can purchase this extended outright if you would like to do that. And thank you for doing that if you do. If you're interested in a private read, I am doing pre-recorded readings. I'm also doing live readings, and I'll be online later on today. Well, it's after midnight. That's why I'm saying later on today. Between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can connect with me there. If you do book in advance, you will get a deep discount between 5 and 75% off. So take a look there. If you want a pre-recorded reading, my readings do begin at $25. That returns to you in 48 hours. Everything else has its own time frame. Please take a look. The link is there for Hypsee. We're going into the extended looking at justice in the reverse. There's something here that you feel like you've not had justice in a long time, and it might be stabilization. It might be happiness and money. We will talk about that. I'm going to leave this right here, and we're going to go into the extended, and we will talk more about all of this. Thanks so much for being here and watching. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. Take care. Bye-bye.